In 1856, something curious happened along the rugged Pyrenean border that separates France and Spain, a mistake that led France to accidentally give away a small but real piece of its land. This wasn't a war, nor a conquest, it was the outcome of centuries of confusion, ancient treaties, and a single mapping error that went unnoticed for decades. The story begins much earlier in 1659 with the Treaty of the Pyrenees signed between France and Spain to end decades of conflict. The treaty set the Pyrenees Mountains as the natural frontier between the two kingdoms. On paper it looks simple, the mountain peaks would be the dividing line. But anyone familiar with mountain borders knows that nature doesn't always draw clean lines. Villages shared pastures, rivers changed course, and maps of the 17th century were far from precise. For years, both nations sent surveyors to mark the boundary more clearly. They placed stone markers called bournes along the ridges, but even these efforts were inconsistent. In the Basque region, where France's Lapurdi met Spain's Navarra and Guipuscoa, the land was used jointly by shepherds from both sides. They had local customs, grazing rights, and water sharing that didn't fit neatly into any treaty. Fast forward to the 19th century. By then, both France and Spain were modernizing their maps. In 1856, they undertook a major project to finalize and officially map the Franco-Spanish border. Two commissions were formed, one Spanish, one French. Their job was to align the ancient border markers with accurate geographic coordinates using the best instruments available at the time. But here's where the accident happened. In the area between Bidasoa River and the town of Hendaye on the French side and Irun on the Spanish side lies a small islet called Pheasant Island, or Isla de los Faisanes. It's a symbolic place because it was there in 1659 that France and Spain signed the Treaty of the Pyrenees. Since then, this island has had one of the strangest statuses in the world. It's a condominium, meaning it's jointly owned by both countries. Every 6 months, sovereignty alternates. France governs it for half the year, Spain for the other half. That arrangement was deliberate, but the accidental land giveaway happened nearby during the 1856 demarcation process. When the Boundary Commission redrew the maps, they used inconsistent topographical data between French and Spanish surveyors. One particular region, the village of Livia, located in the Pyrenees near Cerdagne, became a focal point of confusion. Livia was historically part of the old county of Cerdagne under the Crown of Aragon. When the Treaty of the Pyrenees gave Spain's northern territories to France, the treaty included an important clause. All villages and places on the north side of the Pyrenees were to become French except for Livia, which was technically classified as a town, not a village. Because of this one word, Livia remained Spanish even though it's entirely surrounded by French territory. But the real accidental cession came from a smaller oversight during later surveys near the Bidasoa River and Val d'Iran. In this area, the French Commission mistakenly placed several boundary stones, about 20 meters south of their intended positions. On the official maps, this shifted the border slightly, effectively transferring a few hectares of French territory to Spain. The adjustment wasn't noticed until decades later, when local farmers realized their lands had changed jurisdiction. Historical records from the Commission Mixte Internationale des Limites, stored in both French and Spanish archives, confirm that minor discrepancies were found during the re-verification of border stones in the late 19th century. The French side quietly acknowledged the mapping error but never pressed for reversal, likely because the land was small and rural. It wasn't a political scandal, it was treated as a cartographic correction. In the Pyrenees, small errors like this mattered less than maintaining peaceful coexistence. The border stretched over 400 kilometers of mountainous terrain, and despite the precision of 19th century mapping, natural shifts, rivers changing course, erosion, and snowfall made the line fluid. What France gave away to Spain was never intended to be a gift nor a diplomatic concession. It was the result of human imperfection in a time before satellite data. Even today, the Franco-Spanish border remains one of the most complex in Europe, with several micro-territorial quirks. There are places like Bidasoa's River Island, which changes control twice a year, and Livia, which is a Spanish enclave within France. But among these anomalies lies the quiet truth. A few small parcels of land documented in border commission maps from 1856 and 1862 that France effectively ceded to Spain unintentionally through a misplaced line on a map. No wars, no secret deals, just history's quiet irony. A reminder that even borders, those symbols of sovereignty, are ultimately drawn by human hands. And sometimes those hands make mistakes that last centuries.